You see, I'm not a criticaster, neither am I an iconoclast. Only a ginormous gala on creating hokum that these grudging yo-yos and Nambi Pambi snarly busters have not eclipsed the whole polloi in a state of horrendous ho-ho and ho-ho. We are involved in a gabardine of hanky-panky. We need to heave-ho and heave-ho them exigent. That is what we get when the ho-ho figuratively knows with the ho-ho smart hands politically. He was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is a way of saying the president was fantastic. Some of his political enemies said he was suffering from what I describe as new mono ultra microscopic silicovolcanophobia. Yes, it's a word that is supposed to be called silicosis, meaning a lung disease. But he searched for the longest word in the dictionary, they pepped it up to become a 45-letter word, which is new mono ultra microscopic silicovolcanophobia. What an odium, what an ignominious memento, that even at the barbituration of the so much acclimatized, the same subsidy evacuation and barbituration was condemned by a scrupulous, fastidious, puritanical, boisterous, energetic, and a rooty-tooting, but today for political somnambulism and malocclusion, reticent, taciturn, uncommunicative, and unforthcoming. Meaning he has foretold in their own wishy-washy, fuzzy-wuzzy, hodgepodge, mishmash, and terrible affairs, which is counterintuitive to their political campaign lamentation and promises. Today, the clamorous quest for political impunity, political immunity by our leaders is gradually germinating into political insanity. Oh yes, the locution, catchword, and byword, I will not control. It's not just a travesty, but an unforgettable shibboleth that comes with this onomatopoeic extrapolation and structural functionality. Come to think of it, why will I control India? Why? Having listened to the grumpy, peeved, disgruntled, hungry, pusillanimous. Pusillanimous stands for cowardice, timidity, and fearfulness. Our leaders have finally transformed this country into what I call ring and ring old roses. Yes, the enervating and attenuating situation. But I pray God will not forsake this country. But until the government propitiates the masses, I will not control India. I will not control India. There will be a humongous and stupendous 2023 election. There will be a humongous and stupendous dichotomy between the previous election and this impending 2023 election. As a result of the disapathy, economic banditism, academic noir, bohum bokum, and dignity pokery with their malevolent, topical, governmental, and purpose agenda, which has now metamorphosed and transmogrified the prestigious citizens of this country, political awareness, sensibility, intensibility, and agility. I foresee tranquility, unflappability, imperturbability, and composure in this 2023 election. Is to avert flag agitation, foresee tranquility, unflappability, imperturbability, and composure in this 2023 election. Is to avert flag agitation, astonishment, and dumbfounded situation. I you and who. We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. We shall overcome because Carlyle is right. No lie can live forever. We shall overcome because William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth crushed the earth will rise again. We shall overcome because James Russell Lowell is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. We shall overcome because the Bible is right. You shall reap what you sow. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice.
We shall overcome because Carlisle is right. No lie can live forever. We shall overcome because William Cullen Bryant is right. Truth crushed will rise again. We shall overcome because James Russell Lowell is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. We shall overcome because the Bible is right. You shall reap what you sow. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. Y'all shall be like to watch it up. 5, 6, long time no see. I'll shut up alone. I miss you. And it's too hard to bear. What have you done to me? I'm waking up in the middle of the night without you. And it's so unfair. God's lost in turn. Reach for you. Oh, no. Sun, away. The morning sun rises, but I'm alone. Hurts me so. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you can't say any better. We are back on the show. Bits and pieces and voice of Liberia 104.1. And we are back to talk the issues as they unfold, as we get closer and closer to what is referred to in election jargon final results and declaration of winners. Already we have started to hear and know from the legislative, but the presidential will be announced at a given time by the National Elections Commission. I've got 15 days according to the Constitution to do it. My name is Sam Andrews. Thank you so very kindly that you join us for the show Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia 104.1 Monrovia and Voice of Liberia 89.7 Kakatama Gibi County. Okay, thank you so much that you join in. Mohammed Avi Mohammed Sharif, you are following live from South Korea. Thank you so very kindly that you join us. And Matthew, that's Matthew Che. Matthew Che, you are following from Johnson Street. Honorable Tier, that's Mayon Tier. Mayor Matia, you are also following from Kakata, Magidi County. Thank you so very much that you took up your time to follow. Is it Gaka? Gaka Kahu? You are in Maryland, the USA, the where you are following from. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so very kindly. All of you that I can call by name right now because the names are just many. All I can say is you are massive. You are extraordinary. You are so great. You couldn't assist with the broadcast than you have done to sign up and to be a part of it. Thank you so very kindly. So let's do it together. This is Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia 4.1 Monrovia. We are situated on the capital bypass. If you are coming from central Monrovia, Voice of Liberia is immediately after Dunkin' gas station. If you are coming from the Singa area, it is before Dunkin' gas station. And to all of you in Kakata, thank you for joining in. You can also log onto our online radio, www.voiceofliberiaradio.com, and you can follow from there. So we've got a couple of issues to talk about. Miracle Siwani. Miracle Siwani, thank you for joining in. You are at Stephen Tobo Estate, where you are calling from. Thank you so very kindly. I appreciate it. Hope that you're having a wonderful time. We've got a couple of issues to talk about, but the show will be mainly allaying the fears. Already the atmosphere seems to be hostile, and the panic isn't from anybody, but rather everybody. Why I said everybody? Because even pastors are afraid too. And this is how you know that the atmosphere is hostile. Because people take fear from within out. Instead of looking at the prevailing reality, putting it in context, and knowing fully well that we've got a sovereign government that is in full control of our security, the stability of the country, and the reigning of peace. When a group of people will start to talk about war, using the expression war, we don't want war. We fought 14 years of civil conflict. We had many people dying, thousands of people were displaced. When we're going back into the past, bringing it into the future, the present, then we have already created a war. So, this is what I thought to do this afternoon, that you need not worry. There isn't anything going to happen. Nothing absolutely will happen. Encourage your brother, encourage your sister, go about your business as you are doing. Feel free. Nothing absolutely will happen. Don't talk about war. Don't talk about running away because you scare yourself. You instill fear in yourself. So you become paranoid to whatever may happen on you yet. What that means is when you talk about violence, you talk about war, you instill fear in yourself. So even in your own house, when you hear of something funny or some kind of sign, you get afraid and you run out of your house. You become delusional. So you want to relax yourself. Know that you have a certain constitutionally democratic government, sovereign, and its sovereignty is all over the place in full control of national governance. Therefore, you can be afraid. Don't be talking about war. How can you? How can you not talk? How can you not be afraid when you're talking about war? So you don't want to, when I open the line, you don't want to say that we don't want war in this country. You don't want to say, I cannot dictate to you, but I can allow you to see reason. That is the essence of intellectualism. Moreover, we are all of different faiths. We are all of different faiths, but one thing that is common of all faiths is faith. What resonates with all of the religious beliefs or religion is faith, Faith. And faith also means enduring difficult times. It also means standing up to the reality in the midst of it all that it is not going to overwhelm you. In the midst of it all, you wouldn't die. It is a shadow. Crisis is a shadow. It is never a reality. Crisis is a shadow. When you think about it, like it is said in psychology, that nothing you have done on this earth will ever come back. The only time it becomes real when you think about it. But psychology tells us that nothing you have done, it is ever a reality. Only by thinking about it, by placing it in our memory, then it becomes a reality. From a biblical perspective, since I am a Christian, moreover, I do have a little understanding of Islam because I have had God allow me to be in the midst of very many Islamic brothers and sisters from childhood till now. So I have a couple of texts on the Quran, both the Arabic version and English version. So I know more. I may not have enough knowledge, but I think I do know some. And the quintessential of Islam is peace, is compassion, is love. Beyond that, the book is all about faith. The book speaks of faith. Come to Christianity, the Holy Bible, what it says in such a time like this, that the people should not get discouraged. The people should not have any fear whatsoever. The people must believe not only that their government is in control, but that God, who keeps watch over everybody, that He is involved, that God never leaves Himself without a witness in any situation. What that means from a biblical perspective or from a Christian perspective, everything that is happening, God is aware. He knows, He acts appropriately, He restrains at the time He finds it necessary. In this situation with Liberia, with the fear all over the place, God in heaven is overing Liberia. God saw what Liberia and Liberians went through. He knows the number of people who died. He knows the number of people that were linked whichever way. Two hands cut, feet cut, buried alive. He knows all of those numbers. The same God never ever turned a back on Liberia. The same God ushered peace. The same God is maintaining, preserving Liberia's peace. The same God will continue to do that until the election results are over. The same God will restrain people's anger and vexation who will have whatever the disagreement or unwelcoming results, whatever it is. The same God will protect everybody. The same God will restrain. How about no fear? That is why you need not talk about war. Oh, the people coming forward. The people, they see how to play looking. The project talking about war. And in the way we see the thing here, we got to be careful. The people here, fighting will take place in this country. But these are the same people. And let me speak to you people directly instead of being general, because I said that I have a little understanding about Islam, about the book. I read it, I know exactly what it is. And this is why I started with the introductory part of the Quran. Let me speak to the people or us from a Christian perspective, and then I will move to Islam. I've set the basis already. Look at the introduction of the Quran.
just as you see the introduction of the Bible, what you see, the quintessential there is peace. And then followed by no fear. You know how many times in the Bible the expression fear not is used? Over 200 times. If you are a Christian and if you don't know this, well, you will continue to live in fear for the rest of your life. Didn't God tell us that these kind of situations will happen? Didn't he say in the midst of it all, have no fear? Fear not, because I am with you. When you read that expression, fear not, and the same expression is in the Quran. I do not know about the Confucian, both the Rastafari, the other systems, but I do know about Christianity and Islam. I may not have an in-depth understanding of the Quran, but I think I have much understanding because curiosity led me to go there and still leading me to go there to know. So the expression fear not in the Bible simply means that I, your protector, the creator and sustainer of the universe with you. Listen, if God wasn't with Liberia, what you see happening in other countries, you will see it. And this is not to say that God isn't with them. But what I do know is God's hand is on this country. That is why you need not be afraid. Two, the government is in full control. If you can trust your government, then I do not know who you can trust. The government is in full control of security. Have no fear. Show out no fear. Stop using those expressions. You may think that you are sounding patriotic. You may think you are sounding nationalistic. No, you aren't at all. You're only saying that you are vulnerable to fear, and fear, how did Martin Luther King put it? That we ought to have nothing to fear but fear itself. What it means is fear cannot overwhelm you, fear cannot override you. Don't give it any ounce, don't give it any credence whatsoever. You are by far rational than fear. When you allow fear to set in, you start to use those words: war, fighting, crisis. What you have done is you have unsettled yourself already. You have placed yourself in a paranoid state. At the close of everything, even in your very house, if you are sleeping and a mosquito just get on your skin, you would scream and start to run. And sometimes you hurt yourself badly as others have done because you already placed the fear in you that it's going to happen. Leave all of those. What you're referring to is shadow. All of us, we are Christians. To say this to Christians directly, you can be doubting. You read lines from the Bible. The Muslims will read lines from the Quran. There are lines in the Quran that give assurance that take away fear. There are lines in the Bible that said that fear is just a shadow. Must I give you one of 50? Yeah, it's a popular line that you people often read. Psalm 23. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Did you hear the expression? Look it up carefully. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. What that means is it is not a reality, it's just an imagination. It is the same with fear. Fear is just an imagination. So when you put it on, you already in crisis. It's crisis right there. But if you don't put it on, you have no time to give a credence within yourself, of yourself, by yourself, in whatever the situation. Guess what? You are at peace. You are at peace with yourself. You are at peace. That is the problem with many of us in this country. Go back to Ebola time and COVID-19. What did you hear? People who were shouting faith, faith, believe in God, trust God, Almighty Allah, and quoting almost all of the Quranic lines and biblical lines. When the time came, when Ebola came, fear overwhelmed everybody. And then, years after COVID-19 set in, the very people who were saying that I have faith in God, I have faith in God, I have no fear, the same people were saying that where is God? These things happening to us. And on we can go. In crisis, the way you demonstrate your faith, the way your God gets to know that you are not afraid because He's with you. One, two, your government is in control. Don't we quote Romans 13 and say the government that that we should submit to the governing authority? Don't we quote that? So when you quote that, what is all about? Trust. If you can trust your government, if you can trust national security, and you have a fear, then you trust your fear, and your fear cannot save you. Your fear will only increase and increase, and then what happens? It starts to create a psychological breakdown for you. You become delusional. And what happens? Delusion takes you to the point that you are between life and death. There are people in these elections who die from fear by just allowing fear to overtake them by how they build it up in themselves, quote unquote, that this is coming to happen or this is what is happening. They die. They're gone. Fear kills. Fear kills. Fear doesn't sympathize with anybody. Fear does not know you. So do not have any fear that something is going to happen or people are going to fight. Nobody will fight in this country. No one has ever attempted to even think that way. The people who are talking about war are the wishful thinkers. Do you know that people who talk about these things, they often say it from the outward standpoint, but eternally they're hoping for something like that? Do you know that? Some of the people who say we don't want war, we don't want war, for war in this country, hoping for some kind of crisis. People benefit from crisis. People take advantage of crisis. The crisis is an opportunity for some people. For some people in and out of this country, all around the world. Do you know also, besides us Liberians in this country, do you know there are other people out of this country hoping for some kind of crisis so that they benefit from it? Do you know that over the time people have benefited from Liberia by just initiating crisis under the pretext of, oh, this one can be this one, y'all got to be careful, and we got to do this, we got to do that to keep the country safe. But underground, they were working out something. You know how many persons got rich from Liberia? They got thousands of dollars. You know how some of these NGOs operate? You know how they get their money? Let's talk about our own selves as citizens. That is why you need not give them the credence. If you aren't talking about it, they will not attempt to do anything by their professional idea. People feed on people fear to accomplish their aim. But when they do not hear you talking about it, you're showing no sign whatsoever. You have defeated their plan. Talking about no fear. Nobody wants to fight. Nobody going to fight in this country. I'll try to get the guy's name. But he was here, I think, during Taylor's time. And this is what he said. Since I listened to that once, I never ever forgot. Yeah, what he said. That there are more good people in Liberia than bad people. There are a lot more good people in Liberia than bad people. And the bad people, in my opinion, the bad people always want something bad to happen because they're just bad by thought and action. And these are the people that you hear talking, we don't want war, we don't want war, we want fighting in a country, we want this, we want that. Because if you know what a war is, you wouldn't be talking about it. War is not a good word. It's not a good word to use. Fighting is not a good word to use. These are words that stirs up fear or instill fear in people. So you don't want to create crisis for your neighbor. You don't want to create crisis for your aging mother that is around 75, 80. You don't want to talk about fear or war besides her. She might likely go off suddenly and die. And then there's another crisis there. That crisis, you start to cry and you can understand why. And then the next thing is financial costs, how to get the body into the ground. And you stay crying. Who's the cause? You. But you wouldn't realize that you are the cause of your aging mother at 75 dying because you were always talking about war. You were always using war. So you instilled fear in her to the extent that it grew in her, and then she could no longer, because every other thing around her, the entire atmosphere was war. You know why God allowed us to go through what we went through? It was a test, and we passed that test. God in heaven himself can never ever sit on his throne and allow another crisis in Liberia. Under no condition will God allow it. He can never ever. You people are Christians. All of us are Christians. You have prayed. They read the Bible. You don't see the assurances in the Bible about God's protection on Liberia. You don't see it. You don't read those lines. Why do you need to go back there? If you are a Christian, you need to go back and look at those assurances. So stop talking about fear. Stop talking about war. Stop talking about fighting. If you are a Christian, stop it. If you are a Muslim, stop it. The more you talk about it, you're running contrary to your book. You're running against your own principles. You're disregarding your own principle. You want to drop it. Nothing happening around here. Nothing going to happen. As much as everybody have here freedom of speech, but nothing absolutely will happen. If people talking about the time, like I have heard over the period, that the time is sickening, the same people who say it are the ones who have created a sick or sickening or fear atmosphere. Not the government. Nobody fighting. You know why you're saying that all the time, looking that kind of way? The town just fearful. When you go in the town, people just closing their businesses. Some people are going home soon. You saw or you see anybody fighting? Nobody fighting. You know who's shooting, who creating the atmosphere? You. You. By what you say. So the next person hears it, believes what you said, so he or she stands to leave. Where are you going? Why do you think that you are safe? You can say, oh, the programming for in aggressor are running, I'm going to Guinea. If God said you will die on the road, you will die as many people. It happened to many people. God set people to stay in a given country to survive. That is why this war came. 14 years, there were people who didn't leave from here. They went through terrible times. God protected them. There were people who God said, stay in Liberia. Don't leave Liberia. They felt that because of fear, they should go. So they listened to fear and they could listen to God. What happened to that? Some of them got badly wounded. At the time they want to come back to the country, nobody. God said, no, no, no. Stay where you went. You felt that it was your refuge. So stay in your safe haven, and I will continue to protect Liberia. Since you said Liberia wasn't safe. You people are the ones who are creating the crisis. You people are the ones who turning the country into what it is. The government isn't fighting with anybody. Nobody fighting the government. Nothing happening all over the country in terms of crisis. Everybody going about the normal business. Government is in full tap. You are talking about fear. I mean, talking about war, fighting. You creating the crisis. You creating the war. You're creating a sickening atmosphere in the country right now. Not the government, not any rebel group, nobody fighting anybody. Look at you. Who created it? The very people who talking about war, who talking about fighting here and there, are the ones who are creating it. You're sending yourself to bed early. You're locking yourself up. Some of you have iron gate. You're locking yourself up. But nothing happening. Nobody running anywhere. Everybody moving around. But you say, oh, this country here, we got to be careful. And the people coming for it. Say you know the people coming for it, then what do? The people who you know coming for it, then tell the government, and the government will thwart it. But who are the people coming for it? You know what you're doing? You know what you're doing in your own country? You know what you're doing to the rest of the population? You're initiating war. Fear itself is war. The people coming for it, the one that people are having, man, I see the poor party. I see party in the country. But Sunday you go in church. Then you say you're worshiping God. That's why some of you, when you pray, God don't answer your prayer. Because no faith. What the man said, everything that's happening, everything you're hearing is just a shadow. That's what he said. The writer said, though I walk through the shadow of death, it's just an imagination. So when you put on that imaginative stuff, then that's how it's going to be with you. That's how it's going to be. You want to drop that. I bet us all. Nothing is happening in this country in terms of war. Nothing will happen. Be yourself. Go about your business as usual. Do what you are doing. Do it with confidence. Have no fear. The government has not shown any sign of people attempting to attack or people attacking. Neither have we heard any. And neither we will not yet. Nobody will fight. The National Elections Commission will announce the results. If people not satisfied, the very law, the very constitution, and from where the National Elections Commission drew up all of its law, said that you have the right to go to the people responsible to look at dispute or your dissatisfaction from the results. So if somebody is saying that the way we see the election going, we're satisfied, there's nothing to say all the people coming for it. It simply means when the results are announced and we are not satisfied, we do just what the law says. The law says we should go to court. In happy year 2017, Bromsky and his people weren't satisfied. What did they do? They went to court, and the court ruled against them, and they accepted the results, and everybody went their respective ways. Did we see any fighting in this country? Did you see anybody fighting here and there? No. So when people are expressing their opinion, you should not interpret it to mean a potential war. When you begin to talk about a potential crisis or a conflict or a war, you are the one initiating or hoping that something of disaster will take place. And you know the reason why you want it, but you are pretending like you are patriotic and nationalistic. How many of you know the Bible tells us that all of us who are Christians, that Satan disguises himself? He comes like a lion. No. Just how he's going to treat Israel. We are told that he's going to disguise himself and come like the Prince of Peace, all in white. And Israel will say, oh, yes, This is the Messiah. This is the man we have all waited to embrace. And then what happened? He's going to show his true self. So some people are like that. Some of you who are pretending, truly you people are pretending when you want war, when you want fighting in this country, but you creating crisis. You instilling fear in people. You turning the atmosphere upside down. But what you saying? When you talk about war, you instilling fear. You telling the people get ready to run. And this is why nobody should call on this show to come and say, we want any war, we want any fear. If you don't want to call on any other issue, well, it's okay. I can sit here and talk for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. That's why at Voice of Liberia we prepare. And that's why we are taught as talk show hosts always have sufficient information. Never ever rely on callers. So if you find it not necessary to call, well, it's okay. But don't take your telephone. And I would not allow the media to be used to create crisis or to extend or to stretch your machinery. No. Mm-mm. If you got nothing else to talk, that will sound, that will give confidence, hope, that will keep people to move about their normal business, enjoy life, then forget it. Nothing going to happen in this country. Every day, every little thing in this country, war, fighting. Why is that? Why should you be talking? Some of you have crisis in your home. You all have wars in your homes. You have created wars in your home, fears in your home, at your offices, everywhere. Those crises are there. You're not settling them. But rather, you come outside acting like you're so nationalistic, you're so patriotic. When you're talking about war, fighting, you're simply saying we want it to happen. If I mention something, it doesn't exist. No, it doesn't. If I'm sitting with my neighbors and I'm not talking about war, they're not hearing war, they're not hearing fighting, you know what's going to happen? That gathering going to be peaceful. You're going to see joy in everybody's faces. You're going to hear laughter. You're going to hear a couple of things all the way. And at the close of the day, everybody move to their respective places and relax in peace, get their homes running. Sit in car, sit in commercial cars. Hear people talk. These fears that people have, they did not come from anybody but Liberians themselves. They did not come from the government. The government did not instill fear in anything. The government did not do anything. The government knows some. Have you seen police outside? Have you seen the military outside? Have you heard the government saying the country is in such a state, so therefore we do this? Have you heard the government saying that we are imposing curfew? Nothing of such exists. The country is peaceful. The country is stable. Who talking about war? Who talking about peace? I mean about fighting. The very people who are Liberians, who has turned the atmosphere into abnormal. The very Liberians. Against who? Liberians. And by extension, foreigners. So you take interest. Say, oh, go down, what is that? And the Indians and the Lebanese, the people have closed their store. The people can close their store soon. Did the government say anybody should close their store soon? You know who allowed the people to close their store soon? You. You who talking war. You who talking fighting. You know why your grandma, your mom, your sister, your brother, whatever the age, their pressure going up because of the expression that you use around the war, fighting. Mama, the thing we gotta be careful. The way we see the thing, the people here will fight, they will fight in the country here. They want the thing looking. You know what you have done to your mother? You know what you have done to your father? You think you sounded or you'll be sounding patriotic. You're not even sounding human. Because human being encourages another human being. Human being gives hope to another human being. If somebody has fear, what do I do? I try my best to be therapeutic, to take the fear off. No, you don't have to worry. No. So if somebody is talking about fear, I mean, then no, sit, don't mind what you're hearing. Don't give yourself a psychological breakdown. Nothing going to happen. It is the norm. When you have elections, people talk. Even in your church, if they have a departmental election, you will have people raising their voices. But when they break down the church, when people start fighting in the church, even in your home, people have their dissenting opinions. Nothing going to happen, sis. Just go about with your life. Trust the government. The government is not in full control. Now, if you're talking to a brother or a sister or a friend that way, what you have done for them, if that lady had a fear of not going further, she would change her decision and say, I can go further to do what I intend to do. She wouldn't rush with her purchases if she ever went to do that to run back home. He would not retire from his business immediately, but rather take his or her time because of what that librarian has said. We're not helping each other. We Liberians are not helping each other. We exacerbating the atmosphere. But exacerbation is the wrong word because nothing exists. Something must exist before it is exacerbated. To exacerbate is to elevate, is to increase. Nothing happening. We're just upsetting our fellow brothers and sisters, our fellow citizens, foreigners. We're creating, we tightening the screw on the corners of our country. Because some people just like to take advantage of what people hear as a potential crisis. And then they start to increase the prices of commodities. I was told that a given person bought several bags of rice and other materials or foodstuff. Why? Because he heard people talking about potential crisis, potential fight in Liberia. Who did that? Liberian to Liberian. It is wrong, my people. We can create such a scene for ourselves, and against ourselves. We can do that. We've got to be of help to each other. We got a sovereign government. We got a constitutional and democratic government in place. We got a government that is in control of national security. If we can trust the government, well, then you can trust yourself. When you trust yourself, then what's going to happen is you will turn yourself over to fear. And then what fear does? It kills. Too many people die from fear. I don't want you to die. I beg you, I don't want you to die. Don't die of fear. Fear kills. Nothing is happening in this country. This country is safe, it is peaceful, it is stable, it is enjoyable, it is one of the greatest places to be on earth. Liberia. Look at your country and look at other countries. Why do you think many people from everywhere were thrown into Liberia? You're talking about war here and there, but other people don't see war. What they see in Liberia is peace, is stability. So they're coming into Liberia. And then you want to upset them with this quote unquote, the people coming fight. So if you know people coming fight, then identify the people who come in to fight. So the government will take siege of such a plan that it wouldn't happen. Since you know, because when you come and listen to most of the radios and read a newspaper and listen to some of the people when we go to Hatay Center, Intellectual Center, Sydney, what do you hear? Intellectuals themselves adding, increasing the fear as if they are educated to know what to do in terms of crisis. If we're not careful, generalize, and I see this country being pushed into a crisis. What is metamorphosizing that? They're using all of those grandeur. And then they think that they are saying something of an intellectual. But no, they're heightening the atmosphere. People who they don't know, they will just be excited by their eloquence and the words. Yeah, Paku, you're strong. But Paku making you to be afraid. So when you go home now, after when you sit quietly, then you start thinking, hey, Shannon coming happy in the country out. While another person talking about it, he said, but I seen in the mail talking, the intellectual center, but nothing happening. Nothing. Since you start talking about war, fighting, has any war taken place? Has any crisis taken place? Have we seen people fighting on the French of the country? Let's talk about inside on the French. On the French, have you ever heard fighting? Maybe if you're hearing that, you say, "Oh yes, that's true." But have you heard anything like that? Nothing. In the country itself, nothing. Then why are you talking about crisis? Why are you talking about war? Stop unsettling other people. Stop creating problem for your commerce. When you go to buy, when the people tell you at first you want to buy, they say, oh, 350 for this. You are buying it at 350, you are comfortable with that. That wasn't the problem. But with the words crisis, fighting, crisis, fighting. So you go back now, they say the item is 500. Then you get best. 100. Then people they get like Stephen. Oh, they know what? You made it that way because you were talking about crisis. So the seller trying to get as much money as he or she can, so that if anything happens and they move into his store or her store will not lose because he or she will have a crew or will have gotten enough money to move on the other side. So who increased the hardship economically? You who were talking about war, fighting. When people hear they start to increase their prices. We saw the oil right here over the time. When they hear Liberians talking about war, fighting. You think when you go to a place, something that you buy 100 Liberty, you think you will see it for 100 or the military 100 Liberty, the military you 250. They've been looking for money. He said, oh, the people talking about war, it's true, they come in fight. So let me get my goods up as quickly as possible. Let me increase the money so I will have enough money to move out. That's how some people left from here. Some people shut down their businesses. They're gone. They put security there to mind them. Some women, they're already out of this place. Some of them going to be in Sierra Leone, neighboring countries for a while to see what will happen. If no fight here, then they will come back. But God will allow them to come back in shame and disappointment. Nobody going to fight. I beg us all, you have dropped that expression. When NEC is announcing results, it happens all over the world. Like it's not the only country, all over the world. America, Donald Trump, tell what happened. There was a problem. What did Donald Trump say? Donald Trump said people wanted to cheat him. And he even made some strong remarks. America, everybody sees as the next country after heaven. Because many people think that America, they are infallible, they know error. What happened? What do we see from the very America when it comes to elections? We hear a number of things, but at the close of the day, what happened? It is settled. Everybody accepts the results. If somebody feels uncomfortable with the results based on his or her tally sheets or information available, move to the resolution or start the resolution dispute mechanism. And it starts with the National Elections Commission. There's provision in the law. If you don't satisfy the law, say, then you can go to the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court. And then the Supreme Court will listen to you. If the Supreme Court say what you brought, given our investigation, you did not win. This person win. That person who the Supreme Court said did not win will wash his hand and say, I submit. I accept. Simple. Nobody is bigger, stronger, louder than a country. But everybody, democratically and constitutionally, has the right to express their opinion. So when people are expressing their opinion, don't interpret it to mean war. Don't interpret it. Just as you have rights, they have their rights too. As much as. And one of the things, you can tell me that is not true. Some of you, if you're in your church election, you can cry, you can express your opinion on 17, you can disagree. And some people can say, they say, Joe Liberty, man. He said, no, I can't leave it. We got to recheck that ballot. And I said, this far in church, in community, everywhere you see all of these things, very many of you, you disagree along the way with certain things and certain people. So what makes you think that these people who are expressing their opinion politically and intellectually, they should not? What makes you to think that it is normal that anything that comes up, everybody should just accept it? Then that's not a unique society. That's not a unique society. No. No. The very God who created us provides himself or avails himself that we disagree with him. And you know what he does? He convinces us. And that's the essence. God is democratic. God is constitutional. So don't interpret people's opinion to mean war. When you're talking about war and war and war, you are the one who hoping for war. You want war. So let me close here by saying to every one of us, anybody who attempt or is talking about war using that expression, shut that person's mouth. You know how you do it? Tell the person what you want. It will not happen. It's not a surprise that very many of the people who are Christians don't really know who they are. You know why I say? Because you hear them on frivolous things. Instead of being serious, they show that frolic act. When somebody is telling them something serious, and I rebuke you, and I send it back to the sender. The next expression you hear them saying, when somebody is saying something, say, oh, don't say that. And the Bible says life and death lies in the power of the tongue. So what is death? Fear is death. Death is fear. What Satan uses the most? Fear. What is Satan's greatest weapon against all of the inhabitants on earth? Fear. What he uses to accomplish his aim? Fear. So the Christians, you hear a Christian person, somebody advising or saying something, and then he says, oh, don't say that. The Bible says life and death lies in the power of the tongue. Meaning what that person is saying. That person should not be fearful. That person should not be saying things that will break him or break her down. They can be talking to each other, advising each other to say it the Liberian way. Yet the same people in such a time, instead of saying it to their colleague who were talking about fear or fighting, or the people coming for in Liberia to say, don't say it. Life and death lies in the power of the tongue. Don't wish death, because fighting is death. They jump, they come up, oh, the people coming for. Oh, fighting will take place in the country. And we went through 14 years, but we're not fighting again. What have you done? You have not consoled that person. You have not educated. You have not even used your very Bible. You have not used your very Bible. What did the Bible say in times of, in such a time? When people harboring, or when people putting out these expressions, when people are unsettled from within, what did the Bible say? There were you people who are Christians. You say you're Christians. This is where God now say, no, tell that person, if you are a Christian, tell that person not to say it. Because when he or she says it, it's going to take residence in him or her. And as it takes residence, it's going to affect him or her psychologically and might lead to death. And then when he or she is pronounced dead, no crisis, no fighting. Everybody going about their normal businesses. But the person who talked about death and got afraid and instilled fear overtook him or he died. So you should be saying that expression. Go to Proverbs. I think it's Proverbs 18. It's in chapter 18. Fear is a life and death lies in the power of the tongue. When you are afraid, that's when you start saying that thing about death. Now, what is the writer is simply saying? It is not what you say that a person die or will die. It is what you wish that will happen, because you have that fear. So you have already made yourself as, or present yourself as, vulnerable character that you are all embracing of it. It's just like a person in jail, and the person can say anything, whichever way he or she wants to say it, because the person already dead. So you use Proverb 18 to tell that person, "Sal you." Whenever he or she saying the people coming forth, when you fight in this country to say life and death lies in the power of the tongue, don't say that. The country is safe. This country is peaceful. It's peaceful. Look at us, and we're doing our business, and we're moving up. What's the fear then? Why you must talk about fighting? Nobody coming to fire, sister. Leave that thing. Don't be saying that. Let's move ahead with our life. That sister will never say again. In fact, that fear that sister had, it will go away immediately. But when the sister is talking about it, then you add to the sister fear. You know what you're doing to that sister? And you know what you're doing to yourself? You know what you're doing? So you want to stop it. Nothing is going to happen. How about no fear? All over the world, you have such things, expressions. People disagree. People they will express their position all over the world. Since God created the world, I know you may have watched some things out of Liberia, but you can feed on those things that you see out of Liberia to say they can happen here. No, they can. God will not allow it. Listen, this is how I want to close on this. God allowed a country to go through a certain period of crisis, and that country will never ever experience it. But it doesn't say that the people cannot raise one or two concerns. What it does mean, what it means, simply, God is hovering. God never turns his back on that country. Such is the situation of Liberia. Be peaceful. The country is stable. The government is in control. Nothing is going to happen. Nobody will fight here. This country has tasted its bitterness. It is behind us and we are moving forward. I beg us all, stop talking about fear. Drop the fear, rather. Stop talking about war. Stop talking about fighting. Those words should not be on your lips. You should be talking. You should be using words of peace, comfort, hope, stability, and on we can go. That is why I started or opted not to play any electoral teaser, but rather to just get a therapeutic mode, allow the grammarians and to get you laughing. That is the reason I started the show with these guys to get you laughing. I could have started the show with the usual political stuff, but I thought that it will just keep you discussing and saying some things and worrying. So we have to de-stress. We have to get ourselves laughing onto some things. So I thought to start the show with my grammarians. I called them in to help me run the show. This is how I started. And let's go back to them. Don't control in anybody's for war of fighting war. Don't control. The expression simply means to put it in a simple way that you understand it. I mean, don't take part in a meeting. Don't allow him to influence you. That's what it means. Look up the expression control for war. And say, uh, we trying to get St. Andrews to be a part of this, and we are persuading him, and St. Andrews is aware. That's just the surface of it I'm trying to explain to you. And then St. Andrews is aware of it, knows the implication whatsoever, and he decides not to be part of it. He refuses to be a part. St. Andrews refused to kowtow in their war. That means not to give in to their persuasion. It could be a discussion, it could be a meeting, it could be anything that involves persuasion or getting a person to accept an idea or getting involved physically to be a part of that. So even you and your friend can be talking, and then the person, oh my man, I want us to go to XYZ Entertainment Center to sit and amuse ourselves for a while. And the person, the next person will just say, no, no, I don't think I can control. I don't think I can control. Meaning, I wouldn't agree to be a part of such a war. And I'll be a part of that meeting. Okay. All right. So I just thought to be therapeutic And these guys are very good, very good, very good. And you can be very good. These words you hear from them, they are real words to say in Liberian term. They're not just imagine everything. They are real words. I just explained koto in the poor. If you look up the expression in the dictionary, you will see it there, and it will tell you more than what I have said. All of these words, you can say lamentabs, reticent, and all. Look, all of these words, they just sat down and just ran through these words and they put their bits and pieces together. Okay, so the next thing I talk about as quickly as possible, and then we can zoom out. Another batch of provisional results will be released today. The National Elections Commission is gradually going to an end. The commission has 15 days under the law, 15 days to complete everything. And we foresaw, we talk about, we convince ourselves using all of the political factors available and publicly said that the cliche of the one round that's used by almost all of the parties during the campaign period was just a cliche, that a second round or extra time was possible. Now we are getting indication of that. And here is a simple way to understand it, or I can say in a nutshell. We have a minute portion in terms of percentage to go. Put that 8% together and divide it amongst the three main contenders and the other people. President we are taking his own, Joe Waga taking his own, Cummings will take some, Apiton, the mystery character in these elections, will take some. Everybody will take their piece from the power. So that 8% then, if a political party should win the first round, it means that 8% that remaining, it should go to one party or one party till how is that possible? So you divide that 8% with everybody. Nobody can reach the 50 plus 1% constitutional requirement. So we are headed into a second round or extra time. And it is good. It is good. It's going to be enjoyable again. But I have always looked at the two sides of it and put all of the bits and pieces together on the table. CDC and Unity Party, going into the second round, you realize that CDC will have the edge or has the edge. Some people disagree with me when I did that analysis. Now, most part of my analysis was based on what I have seen in previous elections in Liberia. That the incumbent won. It is hard, but it is not impossible. It hasn't happened in Liberia. I do not know because I have not lived on the earth for a considerable period, unlike other people that were born in the 30s, in the 40s. But God allowed me for the time I've stayed on earth and positioned me in Liberia as citizen. He has allowed me to see some elections. And these elections, or those elections, and now a good lesson, a good classroom. We learn a lot. It is hard for an incumbent from African perspective to lose an election in the first round. It is hard, but it is not impossible. Neither is it undemocratic, but it is hard. That is the first. Now, in attempt onto that hard, why it is hard? The incumbent has everything at his or her disposal. Everything. Everything. During the campaign, it wasn't a problem for the incumbent. They weren't seeking or soliciting money here and there. They weren't complaining or asking their people to print t-shirts, to this and provide that. They weren't asking the people. They did that when they were in opposition. As state or as the incumbent, everything is available. That's one. The second reason I am convinced that CDC will win the second round is they've made the case, or President Weah made the case. Let me say President Weah. I don't want to say CDC. You know why? Because the rest of the people, two persons I saw actually doing well for President Weah, and I talk about it over the days. Talk about them. Those two people, I can say again, they never ever went public. You will not see them very often. Maybe one will talk for a while and he goes, but there's one who never came. I don't think media people actually know him, but he was always around, but he was always shy from the microphone and the camera. But he would do everything to make sure as the grassroots are moving here and there. These two individuals that I know I can speak to, I'm not talking about the intellectuals, people who just proud themselves intellectually, going, just speaking BB here and there, and forgot about the grassroots. This guy is on, you wouldn't hear his name. I don't think that people have heard his name all around, but he did extremely well. And he will continue to do extremely well. This man does it with commitment, with love, with development instinct. This man did campaign and campaign well. He's called Cletus Noah, and then Eugene Jobo, followed by the other people. You didn't hear this man's name. I know. We saw it. Just as people didn't hear the mystery character, Abiton, all over the place. But Abiton worked. If he didn't work, he wouldn't reap the dividend he's reaping now. Some people, they work off camera, off publicity. And when the results start to come, people tend to wonder. Because the reason why, and I think it is one of the reasons people are so curious about how this man would rise so quickly. Some people, very many of us in this country, we love the media. We love to be in the press. So if the press isn't talking about us, if we aren't on radio stations, if we don't have the TV cameras before us, then we aren't working. That's how some people measure their work. But Cletus Noah, you would never throughout see him before camera here and there, but this man will go into the trenches. As CDC people would say, I like that expression, trenches. We'll go into the trenches. That means every dirty area. Whether the area dead, whether it's single, once people dead, he can reach those people for President Williams' great election. The other people, they were intellectualizing. There is a difference between intellectualizing and campaigning. President Weah was campaigning while the guys around him, some of those guys, not all, some of those guys were intellectualizing. They were selling themselves. They were showcasing themselves. They were portraying themselves as the best, renowned, unique intellectuals on the block. So instead of reaching toward the nooks and corners, they were on various platforms, which wasn't bad. President Weah will move into the trenches. That's what I mean when I say President Weah campaigning for President Weah. Had President Weah not done what he did, then it's over. President Weah did campaign. Besides making the case developmentally, that means he has something to show. Since his ascendancy, he did remarkably well. He made the case. It is that case that he is seeking re-election on. Besides what he did, he will convince the people why he should be re-elected. So he was here and there. I didn't see many of his people actually campaigning. What I saw many of them do, they were intellectualizing and they were popularizing themselves. President Weah will talk. He will move to this place. At one point in time, I saw him walking in the water. And the water was, even though it wasn't a river, but it covered the feet well completely. It is not water that you will just walk on and the water wouldn't get into your feet well. If it will get there, then it will just be around the upper part. But water that cover your ankle. Walk in those waters. And what I saw, I have the video. Every time I look at that video, and it is from there that I concluded. Some of President Weah people felt that that water was too dirty to walk in. Some of the officials that were behind him, they were looking for the dry land on the other side. Some of them even waited on the other side. When he crossed, he got through, then he came to meet them because they felt that they were too clean to walk in such water. They were intellectuals. You know, intellectuals can go into those kinds of places. They don't meet peasants and how to call the other people downtrodden. So President Weah campaigning for President Weah. Going into the second round, maybe that's when it will change. The third factor is President Weah has everything on the table. Concessions will be made. Some people, some political parties will make requests as a matter of electoral truth that these two parties have started reaching out. If Unity Party hasn't, I want to believe that CDC has started reaching out. You know why? Because CDC wants it and they can get it. Why? Because they have what it takes. What it takes. But it is not just any party now they can reach to. It's just not any party. In the second round, you're not going to have Appleton. No, you're not going to have all of those people. So the battle for the votes is going to be between President Weah and former Vice President Joseph Walker. Then they have started to look at who, because they following, they have their talent sheets, they have neck permutations, everything. So at the close of the day, they will look at which party came fourth, fifth, sixth. Which party got 250,000 votes from the entire elections? Which party got 140 votes? Those are substantial numbers. So in a second round, if a political party that accrued or accumulated 150,000 votes, and that those 150,000 votes are maintained, ready to turn over to CDC or Unity Party, that's a substantial number. Assume that that party turns CDC way with that 150 votes, 150,000 votes. CDC number will increase stratospherically because it's just between two parties. The second round, two parties, just two. So CDC can listen to requests. CDC will listen to requests rather. CDC has the distribution politics on their table. They can say, This party got 250,000 votes. This party, the uh, party XYZ, can we meet at XYZ place? And then the meeting is arranged. And then now in the second round, preparation for the second round, that meeting is always chaired by the standard bearer. Just so you know that. It is never left to proxy or proxies. President William will be at the table. You know why the standard bearer is always at the table in all of those meetings? Not only because he needs the vote, but he got the final say. So at the table, the party that got 150,000 votes will say, Mr. Standard Bearer and President, you want our vote. You want our support in the second round. We have no problem endorsing you for the second round. But Mr. Standard Bearer and Mr. President, this is our situation. These are our concerns. And then it's handed over to the leader. And the Standard Bearer and President can look at it and say, okay, they are reasonable. We got no problem with it. We give you this. We will give you deputy administration position at so and so ministry. You will have that. It is done all over the world. Some party or parties will receive physical cash. These three factors and more, all of them are on the lap of CDC. CDC has the advantage. Unity Party can make concession, can reach an agreement with anybody because they got nothing to offer. They're fighting to come in. CDC isn't fighting to get in. CDC fought to get in 6 years ago. 6 years ago, they were in opposition. So they could not make concession. They could not listen to anybody's proposition, or they could not accept anybody's proposal because they were in opposition. Now, they are the ruling establishment. Unity Party is in opposition. Unity Party does not have the money. Unity Party does not have the table politics. Unity Party will only be hoping on the sympathy politics. Will be using the sympathy. What is the sympathy politics? That President William and CDC failed this country, misruled, nothing much he has done for this country. So Unity Party people at the table, they talking. This is what they will use. Try to persuade psychologically these or that political party to come on their side so the number will increase. That if we win and we show of winning, we will give you this, we'll do this. So Unity Party in the second round that will be announced shortly by the National Elections Commission, will be hoping the sympathy politics that people should empathize and sympathize with them. When they win, they will provide this, they will do that. CDC, those three factors that I named, which are germane, and you will see these three factors in the second round. CDC will not settle for sympathy politics because they have everything. They will not be hoping on anybody on the basis of, we don't have it, so please help us. When we get there, we'll do X, Y, Z. No. Unity Party don't really have the money. Second round is expensive. Second round in an election, you spend more, but the time for campaigning is less. Unity Party, we are told, I am quoting them, in the first round of campaigning, we were told that they did not have money. They raised money, they organized fundraisers to support their pool washers, to keep them afloat. Beyond that, there are other monies they did solicit. Going into the second round, people who supported you in the first round, what you will see setting in is interest fatigue or interest apathy. What that means is, in the second round, they will not be too sure. Say, okay, we supported the Unity Party, we gave them X, Y, Z, they're going into a second round. But let's put the factors on the table. They're going against President George Weah, who is the incumbent. He has everything. In the second round, he can influence a number of political parties in his favor, and he can win it. So if we give money and more money to the Unity Party, it will be a waste because they wouldn't win. So you'll see that people will be skeptical. Those who donors, other individuals, philanthropics, they will be skeptical of giving them money. They wouldn't be too sure. The reason people can't support a lot in the first round campaign because it's anybody's. It is anybody's win. In the second round, who everybody looks to as the favorite, the incumbent. In this situation, President George Weah. Unity Party will be hoping that other people can just come on board. When they win, they will get this. The second thing that the Unity Party will be hoping on, that just as the people came out and gave them the vote that led them into a second round, that they maintain it, and even more. That is why in the second round they will be encouraging their people, no matter what, to come out. Even if the person is on their side, they will send ambulance there to take the person and get vote. The more they, it's so interesting. So with that, I can say to you that the second round, President Weah will win. He will win the second round, or he will win it in the second round. They did extremely well to reach this far. It was a great fight. It was a competitive game. It was highly democratic. Though NEC hasn't announced the final results, but we know from all indications we are headed into extra time. When the day comes, the National Election Commission will announce it officially. But if you know election counts, if you know how to put the votes and the percentages together, nothing there again. No matter you put all the people votes together, all of them divided, everybody voting for 8%. So how is it possible? They can't win it. One person can win it. They're going into a second round, and the second round favors CDC. The second round favors CDC. Unity Party, I know some of the people are upset now, they're saying it, but this is the reality. We use factors. People use factors all around the world to reach conclusion. Second round, the best opportunity and the best time and the most resolute period that Unity Party had was the first round, this first round. Going into extra time, it is for CDC to win. Except a miracle takes place, except divine intervention that will favor Unity Party and Joe Walker. Anything short of that is CDC to celebrate. The second round, no. Y'all go back in previous elections. You see, if CDC was not the incumbent, I could have told you that no, CDC won. But as incumbent, CDC can lose CDC can lose it. It will be a curse for CDC to lose it in the second round. They wouldn't take those factors that I just explained about CDC and Unity Party, compare them, put them on the table, put those bits and pieces on the table, and look at them. CDC has the advantage. CDC will win the second round. They will win it in the second round. There is a potential second round or runoff or extra time, whatever way you put it. CDC has the advantage going into the second round, and they will win it. I'm convinced that CDC will win it in the second round, people. Thank you ever so much. Let's turn to you now. Thanks for the patience exhibited. 0770 907 0880 and you are on Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia 104.1 Barovia, Voice of Liberia 89.7 Kakatamagibi County, the online radio www.voiceofliberiaradio.com, Facebook Voice of Liberia with me, Sam Andrews, this afternoon. 0770 0880 Move away from your radios, Chief. Move away, I beg you. 0770. Yes, good afternoon. Let's hear you, Mr. Jolliver. What would make the second round hard? No, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a nice afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes. Yeah, I'm doing fine, Chief. Um, yeah, this is Voice of Liberia. This is Voice of Liberia. Yeah, let's hear you, Nelson. Yes, sir. But do you think they would sit down? Do you think they would sit silently? Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Have a nice afternoon. 0770 0880 and you are on Bits and Pieces on Voice of Liberia 104.1 Morovia and Voice of Liberia 89.7 Kakatamagibi County. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Oh, my man, who you now? Who you referring to as your? Oh, my man, my man, good afternoon. Good afternoon. 0770 Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes. You want to lower your rate or tell the people at the back or move away from them so that you understand yourself. Yeah. Let's hear you. Let's let's hear you, Samukai. Okay, Chief. All right. Thank you so much. You people aren't understanding these things. Don't be carried away by words. Don't be carried away by songs. Don't be carried away by slogans. At the close of the day, when NEC announces a run off, you're going to see this is where people going to say, "Oh, we're surprised at the political party. We're surprised at the stand up there." You want to tell me that man? I was saying that man. You know what you're going to hear? The people who you think saying, "Oh, Kush, Kush, Kush," they will go towards Kush. And you know, it may give you one of several reasons. They will tell you that the person they calling Kush, the party they calling Kush, they'll say that party did XYZ, that party did this development all over the place. So let's give him the chance to complete. And even if we gave him our vote, he will do more. Then the way you will come in and say, "Oh, we're surprised. Oh, we're surprised." Never trust human being on this earth. Jesus Christ never did it. Jesus Christ treated every situation, every word, every place with skepticism. Never be carried away by what you hear until you can see it. I can tell you from what I've seen from previous elections in this country. Second round, the incumbent always have the advantage. All of the factors available, all of the palatables, all of the branding, all of the convictions available. That thing you're talking is possible. Lucini Camara can say, y'all do it on your own. I'm there. But Lucini Camara, he said, can go and vote for either one of the two. Lucini Camara people, the second round, you don't get control all the people. That's the first thing. The people can say, yeah. But we can go to the people. The people, we calling the people kush kush. But the man who ain't doing, ain't that kush. What the man doing? What the man, when we see nothing of the man. So it better let's support that man. It better we live with kush. We see development all over the place than to be hoping on somebody who is an angel. How will we wait on an angel that we have not seen? How do we know that he or she is coming as an angel? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah. Yeah, Sango, we are listening to you. Okay, Chief. Okay, Chief. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Yeah. Good afternoon. I'm doing fine. Thank you. And you? How is Bible this afternoon, sir? Let's hear you. My man, say I have say I have. Don't say Liberians. You know about the other people? Okay, Chief. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Have a nice day in Bagolu County. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. 0770. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chief. What is your name and where you calling from? Let us hear you, sir. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Hope that you have a nice time wherever you are. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a nice afternoon. Good afternoon. 07709079070 0880 Good afternoon. I'm doing fine. Thank God Almighty. And you? Okay, Chief. Okay, Chief. Thank you so much. Have a nice afternoon. Melvin Powell, Pastor Melvin, Destined Harvest Power. You are following from the United States of America. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. James David, you are following from Israel. Hope that you're in a safe environment, given the misunderstanding, the armed conflict that is going on. Hope that you're in a safe place. James Davis and Anthony Jala. Anthony Jala, thank you for following. Yes, we have peace already. James Davis, Morris Gotolo, you are following from Sinka. Thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate it. Ruth Sissy. Ruth Sissy, thank you so much for following. And Barbara Quay. Barbara Quay, thank you for joining in also. Uh, Henry D. Hill, Matthew Doe, Hygiene Man, thank you for following. And Kelly Joseph. And the names are so very, very many. Good afternoon. Yeah. Yeah, let us know you, sir. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a nice afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's hear you, sir. Okay, Chief. Thank you so much. Have a nice afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah. Let's hear you. Okay, Chief. Okay, Chief. Thank you ever so much. Thank you for spicing up the show. Can appreciate you the more. Thank you so very kindly. I appreciate it. So, You people are great people, massive, extraordinary, wonderful, understanding. So nobody, absolutely nobody, not a single person called to use the expression war, we are prayer, war going to fight. So everybody listen. Thank you so very kindly that you listen to me. Can appreciate you the more. So this is how we go home. There isn't any problem that God cannot solve. God keeps watch over Liberia. Liberia is God's precious jewel to protect. Just as Israel, so is Liberia. Just as God said, pray for the peace of Israel, so it is the same with Liberia. Pray for the peace of Liberia. God is hovering. Just as He hovers you, He hovers me night and day. So, as people, God is hovering, and God never, ever, it is not His desire for war to come to Liberia. He saw what we went through, He watched it, He allowed it to end. It's over. Every problem that you have is God's problem. There isn't a problem that God can face. There are some problems only God can face. So this is how we go on with Margaret City. Elevation worship. There are some problems only God can fix. God's problem. My name is Sam Andrews. We'll talk tomorrow if God permits. Just some problems God can fix. I can't see it now, but I take confidence. Just some problems only God can fix. Oh, not by might, by the Spirit of the living, Spirit of the living God. Not by power, not by might, by the Spirit of the living, Spirit of the living God. See the breakthrough, I can't explain. Maybe ain't my dad, mother's angel. Get a picture, my power, not by might. By the Spirit of the living, Spirit of the living God. My power, not by might. The Spirit of the living, Spirit of the living God. Spirit of the living, Spirit of the living God. Oh, oh, fortress, thy refuge, tower, stand a strong tower. I am the defender, strong tower, stand a strong tower. Oh, people know. First of all, From the earth, stand a strong tower. Mm. The angel. Oh, so there's a piano. Strong tower. 1, 2, back. 4, 5, 6, missing you. 7, 8, 9, I want you back. Damn, no, see. Missing you. Throughout the bed.